What up on in there? It's your boy Brian D coming at you. Going to do a preview today of the college football playoff semifinal. Michigan versus Georgia. Michigan's ranked number 2. Georgia's ranked number 3. Those rankings, I don't know about that. I think overall Michigan's had a better season. Their loss was better than either Alabama's. Well, I guess Georgia could be argued because they lost to Alabama. Michigan lost to Michigan State. But it was kind of a fluky game. Anyway, first round, me being a Michigan fan, I would have rather have been ranked number 1 so that we could have played Cincinnati and got an easier route, I should say, to the championship game. But we drew Georgia, and that's how it is. So I'm going to go over basically looking at their schedule. There's maybe a couple of games, the box score, and give my general thoughts on the teams. So let's get to it. Start with Georgia, 12-1. Lost to Alabama in the SEC championship game, and that is their only loss. So Clemson, this first game of the season, I did watch a good portion of that game, and it was basically both teams' early season first game had quite a few wrinkles to iron out. Alabama or University of Auburn, I think. Birmingham or University of Alabama, Birmingham, one of the two. Anyway, body bag game, 56-7. South Carolina, their first conference game, won comfortably. Vanderbilt won comfortably. Arkansas, same thing. Auburn, I didn't see this game, but they beat them pretty convincingly, 34-10. Kentucky, who had a good year, they resurged a bit, 30-13. Florida, which had a bad year, not a very good team, a lot of turmoil there, I guess, 34-7. Missouri, 43-6. Tennessee, 41-17. Body bag game, I think it's Chattanooga or something, I don't know, 56-7. Georgia Tech, another out of conference game, 45-0. And then Alabama, 41-24. Now, a lot has been said about Georgia that basically they haven't played any good teams, and the one time they did, which was Alabama, they got exposed. I don't know. Looking at these scores, just generally at the scores, they pretty much won comfortably in all their games. Now, the level of competition, I think, in the SEC overall is down a little bit this year, but they did what they had to do. But this does raise a lot of questions of how good they actually are. And we'll see in this game against Michigan. Let's see, what was their closest score besides their loss? Tennessee? Looking at these scores, their opponents, their defense is as advertised. I don't care how good you are to keep teams to these such a low totals throughout the season is shows a lot. So Tennessee,
Georgia, Tennessee.
Tennessee was 5-5, 3-4 in their conference, and Georgia beat them pretty convincingly. Let's look at the box score. Stetson Bennett played this game, passing 213. Tennessee at 332. Interesting. Georgia rushed, though, for 274. James Cook, Samir White, I think, is their basic tandem. And Tennessee didn't rush well at all. Receiving, Adonai Mitchell is one of their guys, as is James Cook. I don't know much about the other ones. I think Brock is supposed to be pretty good as well. Pretty good day overall for them. This guy went crazy. As a Michigan fan, that this gives me some hope that they were able to pass that. 3 fumbles, lost 2. And I know that Georgia's defense, they have a lot of really good playmakers. Jordan Davis, most notably. Um, but overall, looking at those scores again, they did their job. That's for sure. Exactly 100 yards more. Okay. Let's take a look at SEC. Look at their full standings. Conference 8-0. Everybody below them in their division has at least 3 losses. In conference, I should say. The other part of the conference, Ole Miss has one more loss, I should say, and then everybody has at least 4 or 5. People could say, oh, they beat up on each other, but there's a lot of bad teams. Looking at their overall record, you got Georgia 12-1. The next closest is 9-3 Kentucky, which good for them. They had a pretty good year, 5-3 in conference. For them, that's a good year. And then it's 5 losses, 6 losses, 6 losses, 6 losses, 10 losses. Looking at the other side, you have Alabama at 12-1, Ole Miss at 10-2, and then it's 4 losses, 5 losses, 4, 6, and 6. But again, a lot of middle of the road teams in both conferences, both halves, I should say. Looking at Michigan, their games I know pretty well, so we'll go through those quickly. Western Michigan body bag game, came out, did what we had to do, ran for a bunch of yards. Washington we thought was good, but turns out that they weren't so good. What was their final record? 4-8. So yeah, they didn't have a good year. They weren't anything near what was advertised. So we'll look at the box score.
So the question is,
and we had Cade McNamara threw for 44 yards. 7 attempts. That was an awful, awful day for him. But we didn't have to pass because the rushing game, Blake Corn, Hassan Haskins, one of the best duos in college football, got it all done on the ground. And so 44 yards passing, they had 300. 50 yards rushing, we had 343. Well, that's been one of the themes this year is Hassan Haskins, Blake Corm, great duo. And one's a speedster, which is Blake, and then one's a bruiser, which is Hassan. And they both tore it up this year. Hassan's over 1,000 yards. Blake got injured for a couple of games, so he's right around 1,000 yards. I think Hassan Haskins has about 1,200, 1,300 yards on the season. So again, they won comfortably. Um, it was never in doubt looking at the quarter by quarter scores. And Northern Illinois University, body bag game. Rutgers, which normally is a body bag game, but they're a little bit better. And Michigan had one of its worst showings. Things weren't clicking right that game. Still won 20-13, but yeah. Wisconsin thought was better than expected, but I think they ended up having 3 losses this year or something. We'll look in a minute. Nebraska won by the skin of our teeth. Nebraska's a lot better than their record shows. They've had a lot of lucky bounces this year. Northwestern, comfortable win. Only loss, Michigan State. And I don't know if you've seen that game or not, but the touchdown that the defense had scored, a strip sack and scored, they reversed it, and there really wasn't any evidence to reverse. At least I haven't seen any that shows that he was definitively down. Anyway, it is what it is. And Indiana, body bag game. Penn State, close game, good team. Maryland, not that good this year. Um, and then the surprise of the year, beating Ohio State, which as a Michigan fan made me happy because it's been a long time since that happened. And then in the Big Ten championship, destroyed Iowa. So a lot of has been said that Michigan's peaking at the right time because they started scoring a lot of points. But I don't know how much that has because it's basically almost a month off for when they play again, and at least 3 weeks. So, a lot can happen in that time. Could have a little bit too much fun at Christmas. You could come out flat. Who knows? But we'll see. I know Georgia's not taking it lightly. Let's look at the Big Ten. Big Ten East. Michigan 8-1. Ohio State 8-1. 7-2. Michigan State in conference. 5-4. And then middle of the road. The West, which is the decidedly easier conference, have Iowa at 10-3, 7-2 in conference, and actually they lost 3 because it's a 9-game season. We didn't play them, but we played them in the championship. So realistically, they're 8-3. We should be 9-1 because we had the championship. So these aren't completely updated. To reflect that. But anyway, everything else is middle of the road. But 8-4 seasons, and then 3 bad teams. Over here we have 3 good record teams. Middle of the road, lower, bottom. So both teams have had pretty good seasons. 12-1, 12-1. Michigan's offense is probably going to be one of the best that Georgia's faced. Alabama may have been better, but Michigan, is going to try to run the football, play physical, which is a strength of Georgia's defense. I think that Michigan might be just a little bit stronger and motivated. Cade McNamara, much has been said, oh, he can't pass, he can't pass. Well, a lot of times this year, he hasn't been asked to pass. The running game's been take care of business. And if your running game is getting it done, then you just keep running. Uh, when he has been asked to win or pull the team on his back, he has rose on every occasion. He's very accurate, strong arm. Michigan also has their five-star freshman, uh, and he has played in almost every single game, a couple of snaps, series here or there. He's amazing. He has good wheels, can run, and he has a big arm, very accurate as well. So I expect to see both quarterbacks playing, but primarily Cade. He's got them there, and he's a more of a game manager quarterback, but he can make the throws. And um, overall, the rushing again has taken care of business. So they'll try to do both, but I anticipate they're going to have to do some passing to win this game. That's what's exposed Georgia all year for the most part. It's their most suspect. But we'll see what happens. On defense, Georgia probably has the edge for overall players. Michigan definitely has pass rusher edge with Aiden Hutchinson and Ojobo, and they can wreak havoc between the two of them. Georgia's offensive line, they're very good, of course, but I do think that Michigan's defense is better than Georgia's offensive line. Lines only, that is. Both teams have playmakers. Georgia has quite a few. Michigan has, I would count three playmakers that are bona fide threats every game, which would be Blake Corum, Hassan Haskins, and the tight ends, all in Shoemaker. They are pretty sure-handed. The other guys, though, have all stepped up in different games, different times of the year, and we even had a pass against Iowa where the quarterback threw to our freshman running back Donovan Edwards, who was, I believe, a five-star. He's going to be a guy of the future. And then he turned around and heaved it 50 yards, a running back, uh, on a dropped dime, and Michigan scored. It was pretty amazing to see. But again, both teams have playmakers on both sides of the ball. I think it's going to be a tough contest. Overall, I do think Michigan's going to get it done. I but it's going to be a close game. I also wouldn't be surprised to see Georgia win either, but I just hope that Michigan either wins or has a good showing. There's a thing called BPON in the Michigan fandom, and it stands for Black Pit of Negative Expectations. Over the last 15 years or so, Michigan football's been in a rut. Had some bad coaches that they hired. Harbaugh was brought in 6 years ago, 7 years ago, and he's kind of righting the ship a bit. People were calling for his firing, but he's a good coach, and there's not really a lot of people out there that are better. So anyway, yeah, I'm looking forward to the game. We'll see what happens. But again, this BPON always in the back of my head. Something's gonna happen. Some bonehead play, so such as running into the line over and over again, which is when it's not working. Um, we'll see. Anyway, thanks for watching. If you made it this far, my score predictions. Michigan 32, Georgia 27. Michigan gets an extra touchdown where Georgia will settle for a field goal. I don't know. We'll see. I do expect it to be a close game, though. I don't think either team's going to run away with it. Um, but I would imagine 32 is about the most that Michigan is going to score on Georgia's defense unless they get tired. Um, 27 be one of their season lows, but Alabama held them, I think, to 24. So that's that's what that is. Okay. Yeah, 24. Well, if you made it this far, thanks for watching. I appreciate it. Like, comment, subscribe if you care to. Otherwise, have a good day and see ya.